Let's take a look at question 32 through 40. They want a 95% confidence interval for the slope. So the critical value you don't even need to worry about. It would be inverse t of 0.025 with 10 degrees of freedom and minus 2, but you don't need to worry about that. They're all the same. So you're just looking at the standard area of the slope. There's the slope. There's the standard area of the slope. Choice A. 33, there's probably a couple ways you could tackle this. I just kind of went with the expected value. If you leave it blank, you get 2 points. So pretty much it's going to be worth guessing if the expected value of guessing is higher than 2. So 1/5 of the time you'll guess right and you'll earn 7 points. The other 4/5 of the time you'll earn 0. So that's an only expected value of 1.4 points if you can't eliminate any answers. If you eliminate one answer, now you have a 1 in 4 shot of guessing right. So that expected value is now up to 1.75. If you can eliminate 2, now you got a 1 in 3 shot of being right. Now your expected value is 2.6, which is greater than 2. So you might as well guess if you can eliminate 2 answer choices. Question 34 is a two-way table. I just filled in the information. It stops working. It doesn't stop working. It gets damaged. It doesn't get damaged. So they said the probability it stops working is the 5%. So I know the complement's 95%. That sums up to 1. The probability that it's damaged and stops working is 4%. And they also said the probability that it gets damaged is 10%. Now, given the oven is damaged during delivery, what's the probability it stops working? Just this formula here. Given it's damaged, 10% of the time it's damaged, out of which 4% of the time it stops working. That equates to 40%. 35. We have this safe level. So that's my parameter. So choice A and B are out. They don't have the correct value. A random sample of 28 produces this mean of this. They said it's safe if it's this 24.5 or less. So they're worried about it being unsafe. So that's why it's choice D. 36, they're asking you to interpret the slope. So pretty much for every 1 unit increase in the concentration, there's a 19 unit increase, a predicted 19 unit increase in lead. They didn't use the word predicted. Oh, they did. I'm sorry. There's a predicted increase because your least squares regression line here would be how much zinc there is equals 16.3 plus 19 times the amount of lead. So as the amount of lead goes up by 1, the predicted zinc goes up by 19. 37, they're talking about the sampling distribution. So I'm just going to use my formula sheet. It should be centered at the true parameter, and the standard deviation is S divided by the square root of N. So it's going to have a smaller standard deviation. So obviously, if I'm just guessing, C is out, just based on some strategies we've talked about in the past. Question 38. Which of the following might be a null hypothesis? Number of hours exercised work. We would assume that they're the same, that the difference between them is 0. '39 is a little tricky. They want to take a red and a green die and look at the difference. So you're getting a 1 through 6, subtracting a 1 through 6. So I was able to reason through this quite easily at first. So if I take red, green, I could have a red 1 minus a green 6. That would be -5. Complete opposite end of the spectrum. If I have a red 6 and a green 1, that's +5. So these need to fluctuate between -5 and +5. So at that point, A, B, and E are out. So it's down to D and C. So I'm just trying to think about which would be more likely, and I could go a little bit further as far as figuring this out, but finding a difference of 0 is going to be the most likely, and it's going to get less and less likely as far as differences of 5 and -5, because there's only one way those can happen. Like a difference of 2 could be 6 minus 4, 5 minus 3, 3 minus 1. There's multiple ways that could happen. And the last one, we want the highest probability. So think of the law of large numbers. The more trials you have, the closer the probability is getting to the real probability. So the more times you play the game, the closer the probability of winning is going to get to 50-50. So we want to play as few times as possible to win this prize. So that would be choice